Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey,
And I'm Jacob.
and welcome back to Superman. Finally, at long last. Well, I say finally at long last. We just had an
There
annual.
was an annual.
We had
There
an
was
annual, but it doesn't quite feel the same as having like a regular issue of Joshua Williamson's Superman that I'm so glad is back. I enjoyed Night Terrors, but I'm so glad to be back here. More Superman. This is Superman number 6, and this is the start of a brand new arc called The Chained. Let's jump right into this. First off, we have a new artist on this.
Yes,
on
a
this
guest artist who I don't know.
Gleb Melnikov, I believe is how you pronounce it. Jamal Campbell is gone. I don't think he's gone off the run completely. I mean, he's still doing covers, which is nice.
I think he's like he might be back, either in issue 7 or issue 8. I think he is coming back.
Gotcha.
So, he might just be one of those in-demand artists who takes a long time.
One can't blame him. I mean, the cover alone is just one of the best pictures that you see in this book. It's great.
Yes,
it's a wonderful cover.
We're starting a sort of a new. I don't want to say a new arc because this run is very much arcs bleeding into each other. But this is
but this is called there's a reason the title page says Chapter 6, The Chained Part 1. So like it's still part of the same overall story, but it's the start of a new smaller arc.
Yes. This is where Volume 2 is going to be picking up when they collect these in trades.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and we have some really interesting developments. So I will say this issue is all set up. It's all set up, but
that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's the start of a new arc. I wouldn't expect it to do much more than to set up. I don't know. It's great to see a follow up on the cliffhanger for number 5. At last, we see Lex Luthor getting stabilized here in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. It's nice. It's good to see.
But then we jump ahead 2 weeks.
Yes. I find that really fascinating. First off, obviously, in larger DC Universe time, we do that to account for the existence of Night Terrors, probably.
But I think that's also in and out of universe as well, because with Night Terrors disrupting all the books, I've seen the take on Twitter quite a bit, and I think I have to agree with this take, that disrupting a lot of the books kind of threw off the momentum a bit.
Well, especially with how Dawn of DC had just begun.
Yeah,
I could understand that, but also, I mean, like it worked out for a book like Superman, I would say, that had sort of a natural break going in its story already.
Yeah, Superman didn't suffer the most, but I imagine things.
But I'm reading like Green Arrow and Cyborg right now, and they both got cut off massively, and neither of them had Night Terrorist tie-ins. So, it's you win some, you lose some. You know, it's what it is, I guess. Yeah,
it's a decision.
Yeah, but so we see Superman taking on some bad guys here, bringing them to the Metropolis Police Department,
and it's a far quieter Superman in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
I really like what Williamson is taking Clark, because Clark failed in the last issue 5, and we're not dropping that. He let Lex Luthor get hurt, partially because he allowed himself one night to be a person, and I love the drama. He's very quiet with when stopping these criminals and just flying right off.
He doesn't have any dialogue.
No.
At all. He doesn't say anything to the bad guys. He doesn't say anything to the police. He just flies away.
First time you see him talking is at the Daily Planet.
When he's back as Clark. Which, first off, I want to say I love this Daily Planet scene as it is. You see Lois sort of cracking under the pressures of being editor-in-chief at the moment, which is really cool to see. And just, I don't know, I like seeing that aspect of her character.
I love this one line
about the jab at the typos.
And the typos. And Livewire's article has so many typos. I thought you wrote it.
Yeah. I love that. Did you see the Twitter take that somebody had that Lois Lane is dyslexic?
I've seen that take, and you know what? I believe in that headcanon. Because,
absolutely.
Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist. Brilliant. Amazing. Cannot spell to save her life.
Yep.
And then,
we get this
Clark
really
and
nice
Lois
scene
have this one. It's a one-page scene Williamson is really, really good at setting up these one-page scenes, and Melnikov, the way Melnikov does this layout is really good at making it flow and making it work so well, where it's like, hey, Clark needs his wife, and needs to go somewhere. It's also a great way to get some catch up on sort of who our villains are for those maybe just coming in, which is, let's be honest, kind of a possibility at this point.
It always happens when you advertise like new arcs that aren't by new creative teams. You know, people tend to like try to jump on with those, especially with people that were seeing Superman pop up occasionally, like Night Terrors. If you were reading some of those, it's important to like establish like where our characters are at, specifically on the Lois and Clark side of things. We then see Superman go to Supercorp, where he gets a nice little moment between him and like one of the workers there. It's just a cool little moment before they are met by Mercy Graves, who Clark goes to ask about Project Chained, which is something he was told about by Grafton Farm, Mercy doesn't have like the clearance to go into it, so Superman has to go and talk to the one he would have clearance, but he has to go talk to someone that he can get the clearance from, which is of course the Lex Luthor hologram LL01 that is meant to still look like Jor-El, and it's horrifying, and you can see how pissed Superman is at that. Just a great moment.
Williamson also, God, perfectly captures the smugness of Lex Luthor. Like, this entire bit is Luthor in a coma, somehow still fucking with Superman. And it is great. This reveal of sort of what Project Chained is. Now, when I was reading, I was like, oh, are we going to do... What are we building up to? Are we going to try to build up to maybe, like, a Doomsday type threat, which was, like, a slight worry? Because they build up, it's this prison that only those with top clearance, aka Lex Luthor, and now Superman, because it's Supercorp, can access, and it's this villain that
is buried deep below Stryker's Island.
Buried there so that it could never get out, and only Lex Luthor could punish it, which is terrifying. And really good build up, again, despite this being one issue. And Clark being Clark is potentially playing right into the hands of Grafton Farm here. They so clearly want this guy up, but like Clark is making the right decision, because we go down, we see this massive chains and this cell opening. Mercy being like, hey, maybe you don't want to do this. Like, I can't tell you what to do. Maybe you don't want to do this. And she's not wrong, but she's not right. Because, like, Melnikov does this great build-up of the imagery. There's some references to Flashpoint, is what I was sort of the vibe I was getting with all the chains.
Oh, that's possible. I don't know if that's exactly what they were going for.
Well, and then the design of the suit of this guy.
So he's like has all these like, he has this big like metal dome on his head and like arms and all that, and he has these various chains like keeping him there. This is what Superman does: is he walks up to him, he removes the dome, frees him from the chains. As this is happening, Lex in his hospital bed is whispering, "Superman, save me," which Superman can hear. Superman calls back to Lex and this prisoner in here, which I love that we don't have a name for. And once again, I love Williamson just creating new and hopefully will eventually become well-known Superman villains. Great.
Or possibly even just well-known Superman characters, because this could be a villain, might not be. Who knows?
Yeah. For now, again, it seems like people are calling him the Chained, which is fair to say for now.
Fair to say.
But I'll be really curious to learn more about this character.
I want to know what this guy's deal is, and I don't want to hear it from Lex entirely, because Lex Luthor is an unreliable narrator.
This guy, this chained character, gets up, knows that Superman is talking about Lex, gets pissed off. He is able to fly. He flies out of the prison. Superman tries tries to shoot his lasers at the guy, but the lasers stop right in front of his face. The prisoner flies away after
the prisoner also makes one note early on of saying, "So Lex," something along the lines of, "So Lex gave you powers too."
Yeah,
which is interesting. Interesting.
I sense some more flashbacks coming up to Lex's time as a superhero.
Oh, I mean, the next issue is advertised as being an oversized issue, 850.
Yes, because we love legacy numbering. Yeah, so that'll be coming up soon, and I'm, again, just going to be fascinated to see what that's all about. And I think we'll have plenty of more time to delve into this. I don't think it's going to be an anthology. I think it's just going to be all one story.
Well, I think it's going to be one story, but it's going to be a longer story.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Williamson is prepared for that, because we end on this note of, well, Lex Luthor loves Metropolis, so I'm going to burn Metropolis to the ground. Meanwhile, Clark is now chained and stuck. Mercy cannot get him out. Lex is awake. Lex
wakes up from his coma, says, "Superman, what have you done?" And that is where we end Superman number 6. And oh man, it's so great to be back. So excited.
It feels good. One thing I really hope, if anyone at DC is listening, I know you've already started your planning of the Beast World event coming this winter,
November,
I think.
believe.
November. Yeah. Hi. Please don't stop your other books for this one.
They're not going to.
Good, because first off, I missed this.
It's gonna, as far as I could tell, because we have some of the solicits for it already. It's gonna be mostly just a couple one shots, kind of Night Terror style, but it's a much smaller event.
I was gonna say, isn't it all supposed to be more of a Titans-centered event?
Yeah, I will be reading it because I am reading Titans currently. So I will let you know what that's all about. But I imagine we'll be skipping it on one shots because you won't really have any clue what's going on in that.
No, I am not currently reading Titans.
You are not. That is that. Oh,
again, if you are not reading this run, read this run. It is really good.
It's so good. All 6 issues, the annual. None of them have missed so far.
Joshua Williamson is slowly becoming one of my favorite DC writers who's currently writing right now.
Good. I love that. That's so awesome. But yeah, all right. In the meantime, check out our other one-shots that are coming out currently. Just recently we released our one-shot for Wonder Woman #1 by Tom King, which is fascinating. That's another one that I would strongly urge new readers to go and pick up.
Yes.
And then later, check out our thoughts on that.
Later this week, I believe, we will, or potentially in the weekend.
Yeah.
Batman the Brave and the Bold, number 5.
Number 5, that's the one.
Which I saw a promotion for us the day we're recording, and it's actually finally continuing the winning card.
Yes, finally, at long last. So, looking forward to that. So be sure to check those out. As always, check out the podcast. We just recently started our first Marvel block, which is insane. The first episode on The Amazing Spider-Man by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko is out. That was insanely fun to record.
A longer episode than we were originally thinking was going to be.
Most definitely. So yeah, can't wait to see how long the second one's going to be. So yeah. All right. I guess that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.